shipping this guy out today, Grizzly Bear Mandolin. So I do a quick little video, just kind of top to bottom, the whole concept. It's like a 1.5 year evolving concept. So I'll take a moment and explain it all. So obviously the client wanted it to be Grizzly Bear themed. As much as possible. So I spent a lot of time thinking and brainstorming in my own head and with the client, kind of how to incorporate aspects of a grizzly bear into one without it being like kind of cheesy or kind of too overcrowded, kind of more organic in a sense. So it all started with, you know, what woods to actually use. So to me, the obvious thing was to use some bear claw figured Sitka spruce from Alaska, since that's where grizzly bears are. So that was kind of a no-brainer. It's just a matter of hunting down a nice billet of the bear claw figure. And this definitely fit the bill. You can kind of see the here, just kind of all scattered. There's nice little figure marks of bear claw. As far as the neck, sides, and backboard, that took me a while to find like a grain pattern that really kind of, to me, really exemplified like the arched kind of hunched back of a grizzly with like the hump that they have kind of in the their neck kind of upper back area. And so I kind of wanted the grain, I wanted to carve it to kind of have that kind of a subtle peak and hump kind of around this area. But then I also wanted the grain to kind of show that kind of flow too. Obviously wanted the grain color to kind of mimic that of like grizzly bear. And I think this kind of walnut kind of did the trick pretty well. I hadn't done this before ever, but I milled down the walnut so that the sides were milled. The side material was milled like as close as possible to the backboard, so that when I bend the sides, it would look like the grain from the side here kind of folded right over and continued into the backboard area. I just kind of wanted that nice cohesive kind of flow as if it was the back into the sides of the grizzly bear. Again, probably something nobody will ever notice, but so is life. The next thing after deciding on that was where to do the sound ports. Kind of wanted them to be off-centered, didn't want it to really be symmetrical. I kind of can't stand things that are like super symmetrical anyway, so you had to work with where the tone bars are placed. So internally there's a tone bar kind of running like that, more or less. So you kind of had to pick and choose tonally and aesthetically, okay, where should the sound hole be? And so kind of decided to have them kind of like to go into the sides a little bit, and then kind of as if the bear was kind of reaching up and around type of thing. So that's why it's kind of down to the side and up and over. So for the base, had it here just because you have the tone bar here, and that's kind of like tonally, that's like prime real estate as far as tone production on the mandolin, kind of all this stuff here. And then treble wise, kind of snuck one in over here again, same thing, went into the sides as if the bear was kind of reaching up and over and around. I also tried to place them kind of based off of where the figurine was, just so it would kind of look like, oh, this is an active thing going on, the bear reaching around and creating these marks on the tree. What else? So I think that covers tone woods. The kerf lining, I did Sitka spruce just to kind of keep in the theme with all of the soundboard and where grizzlies live. What else? Tuners, we did Rubner tuners. Always a great choice. The color tones matched everything really perfectly. What else? The bear on the headstock. That was, oh my gosh. That was quite a process of brainstorming. Again, not wanting the bear face to look super cartoonish or cheesy or anything. So I went through many renditions of like where to place it, where to have the tuning machines in relation to the bear, how to carve it, and so forth. So what I did is I used a piece of walnut that was from the backboard to kind of have that continuous grain pattern, and carved it into that. Again, I went through many renditions, and then I inlaid the head into the headstock. I don't know if you can really see it or tell, but it's inlaid into it, and I left it protruding just to add that kind of dimension. And then we added kind of those goldish eyes to it to really make it pop. The nut is grizzly bear bone, so that's kind of a no-brainer. Truss rod cover, again, that was some cut off material from the backboard and the sides, and then I etched in like a Sitka spruce cone into it. And I also did the same on the side here. It's pretty subtle. The lighting kind of sucks, but whatever. Anyway, there's also an etching on the side here. Onto the fingerboard. Grizzly bear on the 3rd fret, no brainer. And then for the position markers, it took forever. Cut out little grizzly bear footprints out of gold mother of pearl. What else is going on here? It has an internal K&K pickup. And then at the end we added, on the fingerboard, the end of the fingerboard kind of made it look like a broken tree branch kind of would snap. So that's why this is all jagged and stuff, just like a bear snapped a branch in the woods. And then I also added, client had a good idea to add kind of some, kind of like dirt, as if, it had kind of been in the dirt, like a grizzly bear. So instead of using actual dirt, which I actually thought about using, I was like, that probably might not be great. I used some sawdust. I had some like cambia ash lying around, and it's kind of a nice kind of like burnt dirt color. So I just kind of took some sawdust from that, mixed it with shellac, and then kind of layered it into these few spots here to kind of add some like mud or dirt type vibe onto it. And another thing I added, which nobody will probably ever notice, I mean, I told the client, but I wanted to picture, like, let's say the bear is walking through the underbrush or through the trees. Branches are dragging across its back, and so I was thinking it'd be cool to have like that kind of texture or vibe on the backboard. So after I French polished it, I went out and found some like pine tree branches, kind of just as the shellac was kind of fresh still, I would kind of just like drag the pine tree needles across the finish to kind of create that sense of movement and motion that the bear had just like traveled through the forests. What else here? We got the tailpiece, one piece, whatever it's called, Allen tailpiece, grommets, ebony bridge, and then staining the soundboard, we want it to be very light, the client provided a really great picture of like this really awesome grizzly bear, where it's this really light for most of its body down near its kind of abdomen and legs. It started to get darker and darker, and so we tried to encapsulate that kind of shift of color tone onto the soundboard. I think those are all the things. So this is shipping on out today. It's been quite a journey, and I hope the client likes it. And it's definitely, it was quite a cool project to do for sure. So, all right, I'm gonna do one more assessment of it, box it up, and get shipped on out of here. Thanks for watching.